Here is your complete YouTube video script. What if I told you that right now, tonight, while you sleep, your eyes are slowly being damaged, and most people have absolutely no idea it's happening? We spend billions of dollars every year on eye drops, glasses, and surgeries, yet we completely ignore one of the most powerful, science-backed tools that nature has already handed us. And the best part? It costs less than $1. It sits in your kitchen, and eating it before you go to bed could be one of the smartest decisions you ever make for your long-term vision. I'm talking about a single fruit that researchers, ophthalmologists, and nutritional scientists have studied for decades, and the data is genuinely extraordinary. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand your eyes in a way that most people never will, and you're going to know exactly what to do tonight before you close them. Let's start with something most people don't think about. Your eyes are arguably the most metabolically active tissue in your entire body. They never truly rest, even when you're sleeping. While your conscious mind drifts off, your retinal cells are still working, repairing oxidative damage, regenerating visual pigments, clearing out cellular debris, and preparing your photoreceptors for another day of processing millions of images. This process is enormously energy-intensive and requires a very specific set of nutrients to happen correctly. When those nutrients are missing, even partially, the repair process becomes incomplete. Over weeks, months, and years, this incomplete repair accumulates into something very serious: macular degeneration, deteriorating night vision, chronic dry eyes, increased sensitivity to light, and a dramatically higher risk of cataracts. So the question isn't just, what should I eat for my eyes? The question is, what should I eat so that my eyes can properly repair themselves every single night? And the answer, backed by peer-reviewed research published in journals like the British Journal of Ophthalmology and Investigative Ophthalmology and Visual Science, points clearly to one fruit above all others. That fruit is the bilberry. Now, if you've heard of blueberries, you're already on the right track, because bilberries are a close European cousin, and while blueberries are genuinely excellent for eye health, bilberries contain concentrations of the key protective compounds that are 2 to 4 times higher than what you find in a standard blueberry. We'll talk about both of these fruits in detail, because if you can't find bilberries in your local store, blueberries are a powerful and very accessible alternative. But let's understand why either of these fruits is so remarkable, because the science here is something you deserve to know fully. The key is a group of compounds called anthocyanins. These are the pigments that give these fruits their deep blue and purple color, and they are not just dyes. They are among the most biologically active antioxidants ever identified in human nutrition. Specifically, the dominant anthocyanins in bilberries and blueberries include cyanidin, delphinidin, malvidin, petunidin, and peonidin. Each of these compounds has a slightly different molecular structure that allows it to interact with eye tissue in distinct and complementary ways. When you eat these fruits regularly, particularly before bed, these anthocyanins are absorbed into your bloodstream, and a remarkable thing happens. They preferentially accumulate in the tissues of your eye. Research has shown that the retina and the lens of the eye attract and concentrate these compounds almost as if the eye recognizes them as critical repair materials, and that's precisely because they are. Let's talk about what these anthocyanins actually do once they reach your eye. The first and perhaps most studied effect is their impact on rhodopsin, the visual pigment in your rod cells that allows you to see in low light conditions. Rhodopsin is a light-sensitive protein that gets bleached, meaning chemically broken down, every time it absorbs light. In a healthy eye, rhodopsin regenerates rapidly in darkness so that your vision adapts quickly when you go from a bright environment into a dark one. This is called dark adaptation. Research dating back to World War II found that British Royal Air Force pilots who consumed bilberry jam before night missions reported significantly better night vision than those who did not. While some historians have debated how widely this practice was used, the underlying science has since been validated many times over in clinical settings. Anthocyanins accelerate rhodopsin regeneration, which means that when your eyes are repairing themselves at night, this process happens faster and more completely when adequate anthocyanins are present in your system. Eating these fruits before bed means the anthocyanins are circulating at peak levels precisely during the hours when this repair is happening. The second mechanism is oxidative stress reduction in the retina. Your retina is constantly exposed to light, and light generates free radicals, unstable molecules that attack the delicate cells of your photoreceptor layer. The macula, which is the small central area of your retina responsible for sharp, detailed vision, is particularly vulnerable. Age-related macular degeneration, which is the leading cause of blindness in people over 50, is fundamentally driven by this oxidative damage accumulating faster than the body can repair it. Anthocyanins are extraordinarily potent antioxidants. Studies have shown that they can neutralize reactive oxygen species with an efficiency that surpasses even vitamin C and vitamin E in certain tissue environments. But what makes them uniquely valuable for eye health is their ability to cross what's called the blood-retinal barrier, a selective membrane similar to the blood-brain barrier that controls what substances reach your retinal tissue. Most antioxidants struggle to penetrate this barrier in meaningful amounts. Anthocyanins from bilberries and blueberries pass through with remarkable efficiency, delivering their protective effects directly where the damage is occurring. The third mechanism involves the health of the tiny blood vessels that feed your retina, called the retinal capillaries. These are among the smallest and most delicate blood vessels in your entire body, and they are responsible for delivering oxygen and nutrients to your photoreceptor cells. When these capillaries are damaged, weakened, or blocked, which happens in diabetic retinopathy, hypertension, and simply with aging, your retinal cells begin to starve and die. Anthocyanins have been shown in multiple clinical studies to strengthen capillary walls by stimulating collagen synthesis and inhibiting the enzymes that break down capillary integrity. A landmark Italian study published in the Annals of Ophthalmology found that patients with diabetic retinopathy who supplemented with bilberry extract showed measurable improvements in capillary permeability and visual acuity after just 4 weeks. This vascular protective effect is something that very few foods can match, and it operates around the clock, meaning the window before sleep, when your body is initiating its repair cycles, is an ideal time to have these compounds in your system. Now I want to make sure we give credit to the full nutritional profile of bilberries and blueberries, because anthocyanins are the headline but not the entire story. These fruits also contain meaningful amounts of lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 carotenoids that act as the eye's built-in sunscreen. These pigments are deposited directly in the macula, and they physically filter high-energy blue light before it can reach and damage your photoreceptor cells. In a world where we are exposed to unprecedented levels of blue light from screens, having adequate lutein and zeaxanthin in your macula is no longer optional. It is essential. Studies have shown that people with the highest dietary intake of these 2 carotenoids have a significantly lower risk of developing macular degeneration, with some research suggesting risk reductions of up to 40% compared to people with the lowest intake. Beyond that, blueberries and bilberries provide vitamin C, which is essential for collagen maintenance throughout your eye, including in the cornea and the lens. They provide vitamin E, which works synergistically with vitamin C to protect cell membranes. And they provide resveratrol, a polyphenol that has shown promise in early research for protecting against retinal ganglion cell death, the type of damage that underlies glaucoma. So how much should you eat, and exactly when? This is where the practical application becomes important. The research literature on bilberry supplementation typically uses doses equivalent to roughly 80 to 160 milligrams of anthocyanins per day. In terms of whole fruit, this translates to approximately half a cup to 1 cup of fresh or frozen bilberries per day. For blueberries, since the anthocyanin concentration is lower, you'd want to aim for 1 to 1.5 cups to achieve a comparable effect. The timing question is genuinely important. Anthocyanins reach peak plasma concentration in your blood approximately 1 to 2 hours after consumption, and they remain significantly elevated for 4 to 6 hours afterward. Your body's deepest cellular repair processes begin during the early stages of sleep, typically within the first 2 to 3 hours after you fall asleep. If you eat your serving of berries 45 minutes to 1 hour before bed, you're engineering a situation where anthocyanin levels in your bloodstream and eye tissues are at their peak precisely when your eyes need them most. This isn't just theory. It's timing your nutrition to align with your body's biological repair schedule, and it is one of the most intelligent things you can do for your long-term visual health. Let me now address a very common question. Can you use supplements instead of whole fruit? Bilberry extract supplements are widely available, and some of them are genuinely effective. However, there are important caveats. Firstly, the quality of bilberry supplements varies enormously between brands, and there is significant evidence that some products on the market contain far less anthocyanin than their labels claim. If you choose a supplement, look for products that are standardized to 36% anthocyanins and have been third-party tested. Secondly, and more importantly, whole fruit provides what scientists call a food matrix effect. The fiber, water content, additional polyphenols, and micronutrients in whole bilberries and blueberries work together to enhance absorption and bioavailability in ways that isolated extracts cannot fully replicate. The fiber in particular slows digestion slightly and allows anthocyanins to be absorbed more gradually and completely. So, while a quality supplement can be useful, especially for people who have difficulty consuming adequate quantities of fresh fruit, whole fruit eaten as part of a consistent daily habit is the gold standard. What about people who have diabetes or are monitoring their blood sugar? This is a legitimate concern, and I want to address it directly. Blueberries and bilberries, despite their sweetness, have a relatively low glycemic index, typically between 40 and 53. They are also rich in fiber, which further blunts the blood sugar response. Multiple studies have actually shown that regular blueberry consumption can improve insulin sensitivity over time, not worsen it. However, if you are managing diabetes, you should always discuss significant dietary changes with your physician or registered dietitian, and monitoring your individual blood glucose response to any new food is always wise. For the vast majority of people, 1 cup of blueberries before bed will not cause a problematic blood sugar spike, and the benefits for your vascular health, including your retinal blood vessels, which are among the first to be damaged by chronically elevated blood sugar, are profoundly worth prioritizing. It's also important to talk about what you should avoid pairing with your bedtime serving of berries, because certain combinations can actually reduce their effectiveness. High-fat dairy products eaten at the same time can bind to anthocyanins and reduce their absorption. This is a nuanced finding. Some fat is actually beneficial for absorbing fat-soluble nutrients like lutein and zeaxanthin. But large amounts of casein protein found in milk and cheese can chelate anthocyanin molecules and partially prevent them from being absorbed. This doesn't mean you can never have yogurt with your berries. A small amount of a probiotic-rich yogurt is actually beneficial because certain gut bacteria enhance anthocyanin metabolism. But a large glass of milk alongside your evening berries may reduce their effectiveness. Additionally, avoid eating them alongside very high tannin foods or strong teas in the same sitting, as tannins can similarly bind to polyphenols and reduce bioavailability. One more thing that bears emphasis: the benefits I've described today are not immediate. Your eyes will not be transformed overnight after a single serving of berries. What we are talking about is a long-term, cumulative protective strategy. The studies that showed the most impressive results, reduced risk of macular degeneration, improved dark adaptation, stronger retinal capillaries, were all observing the effects of consistent, sustained dietary habits over months and years. Think of this not as a cure, but as a form of daily insurance for your vision. Every night that you go to sleep with adequate anthocyanins in your system is a night your eyes spend repairing and protecting themselves more effectively than they would without them. Multiply that by 365 nights and then by a decade. and you begin to understand why researchers who study eye aging are so emphatic about the importance of these compounds. To bring everything together, your eyes work tirelessly every night to repair the oxidative damage accumulated during the day, to regenerate the visual pigments that allow you to see clearly, and to maintain the microscopic blood vessels that keep your retinal cells alive. The best fruit you can eat before bed to support all of these processes is bilberry, or if bilberries are not available to you, high-quality fresh or frozen blueberries are an excellent and proven alternative. The key compounds are anthocyanins, which cross the blood-retinal barrier, neutralize free radicals, accelerate rhodopsin regeneration, and strengthen retinal capillaries. Eat your serving approximately 45 minutes to 1 hour before sleep. Aim for 1 to 1.5 cups of blueberries or half a cup of bilberries, and avoid pairing them with large amounts of dairy. Do this consistently, and you are giving your eyes the best possible conditions to protect your vision for the long term. If you found this information valuable, please subscribe to this channel, give this video a like so it can reach more people who need this information, and drop a comment below telling me what health topic you want me to cover next. I read every single one.